Breaking. As Wike and Tinubu set up 10-man committee to enforce Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy, pro-Sim Fubara CTC chairman in ethical dilemma. Hello viewers and welcome to InfoGist TV. The federal government raises 10-member committee to enforce Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy. The federal government has set up a 10-member committee to enforce the Supreme Court judgment delivered on the 11th of July 2024, granting financial autonomy to the local governments in Nigeria. Director, Information and Public Relations in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, OSGF, Segun Imoisan, disclosed in Abuja. He said that the Secretary General of the Federation, Senator George Akume, who inaugurated the Inter-Ministerial Committee, would himself chair it. Members are the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, the Accountant General of the Federation, the Governor, Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Finance, Chairman, Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Committee, representatives of state governors and representatives of local governments. The committee's primary goal is to ensure that local governments are granted full autonomy, allowing them to function effectively without interference from state governments. This move is in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's efforts to give appropriate implementation to the provisions of the Constitution, which recognizes local government as the third tier of government, the state added. We should recall that Governor Fubara and heads of local government areas loyal to the Federal Capital Territory Minister clashed over fundings of pro-Fubara CTC chairman. Governor Fubara, the heads of the local government areas clash on the recent landmark judgment of the Supreme Court on local government financial autonomy has caused rift between Rivers State Governor Similaye Fubara and the 23 head of local government administration, HLGA. A staff of Rivers State Government House who pleaded anonymity said the governor, which is the Governor Fubara, mandated the acting chairman of Rivers State Local Government Service Commission, Goodlife Ben, to assemble the 23 head of the local government areas for an emergency meeting with him in the Government House, Port Harcourt, following the news of the Supreme Court ruling. The meeting took place at 8 p.m. on Friday, July 12th. The governor told the councils to the heads of the administration to continue working with the local government caretaker committees he appointed about a fortnight ago. The governor continued by telling them that the Supreme Court did not categorically spell out that the already appointed caretaker committees should vacate their positions. He further asserted that the judgment is even being interpreted in different ways by senior lawyers in the country. Fubara directed them to continue to allow the 23 CTCs to access funds, whether it comes from Joint Account Allocation Committee or directly from the Federation account to the respective local government accounts. The directive did not sit well with the head of the local government areas, Mrs. Inume Raymond, the head of administration. Ogu Bolo Local Government Council did not mince her words in disagreeing with the directives. She reportedly told the governor that she does not want to go to jail. Mrs. Raymond reminded Governor Fubara that this is a judgment of not just any court but the highest court in the land that they are being asked to disobey. Her stand was supported by her colleagues in the meeting. The heads of the local government area of Eleme Local Government Council, Cyril Okerenwongbat, suggested that the governor should give the directive via a state broadcast, like he did on June 18th, wherein he directed them to assume leadership of the council pending further directives. He maintained that by doing so, the world would know that they are working with the caretaker committees as directed by the Rivers State Governor. Governor Fubara told him that he would do no such thing because there is no need for it. He said any head of the local government area who does not do as directed will be redeployed to the Commission's head office in Port Harcourt for another person to take their place as the head of local government area. The acting chairman of the Local Government Service Commission, Goodlife Ben, pleaded with the governor to adjourn the meeting to allow him to go back to have a meeting with the heads of the local government areas for further deliberations, a request which was granted and the meeting ended a stalemate. Also recall that the Supreme Court's ruling on local government autonomy is a win for democracy. The concept of democracy is anchored on fundamental ideas of serving in the interest of the majority. Most people reside in local communities where they primarily experience the direct impact of government. Nigeria, as a federation, subscribes to the idea of democracy as stated in Section 14 Sub 1 and 14 Sub 2A of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, and Section 14 Sub 1 states that the Federal Republic of Nigeria shall be a state based on the principle of democracy and social justice. Constitutionally, Nigeria operates a three-tier system of government comprising the federal government, the state government, and local government, which each tier having defined roles to play in delivering the dividends of democracy to the citizens. With this, the Constitution has paved the way for the effective functioning of local government in Nigeria, but the reality is far from the Constitution's wording. Local government administration in Nigeria has become a textbook principle without reference to reality and gradually becoming extinct. In May this year, the federal government, through the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi SAN, filed a suit at the Supreme Court of Nigeria accusing the state government of running the local government aground. On July 11, the Apex Court gave a landmark judgment on the financial autonomy of Nigeria's 774 local governments. It also condemned the dissolution of the elected local government councils by state governors. A 7-member panel of the Supreme Court, chaired by Justice Mohammed Garba, disagreed with the position of the state government and concluded that the plaintiff's case had merit. Reading the ruling, Justice Agim stated that it is the position of the court that the Federation can play local government allocation directly to the local governments or through the states. In this case, since paying them through states has not worked, Justice demands that the local government allocation from the Federation account should henceforth be paid directly to the local government. He said, "I hold that the state's retention of local government funds is unconstitutional. Before this judgment, the usual practice was to remit the funds accrued to the state and local government from the Federation account to a joint account at the state level. From the account, each local government was to collect its deserving shares, which is in line with the provisions of Section 162 of the Constitution. Unfortunately, the actions of the state governors have been the opposite of this. According to Justice Agim, for the last 2 decades, the state have been retaining funds due to the local government and disbursing them at their whims and caprices, contrary to the constitutional provisions. The state's decision to withhold allocations to local government has grounded many of Nigeria's 774 local governments and rendered most useless. It has brought on towards hardship to the citizens who should enjoy the dividends of democracy at the grassroots. Local governments have specific responsibilities assigned to them by the Constitution as outlined in the 4th schedule of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, that mostly require adequate fundings to performance. The administration of public primary schools and primary health centers, many of which are in disrepair, is one of the responsibilities of the local government. As it is, many Nigerians would prefer to enroll their wards in private primary schools due to poorly maintained facilities and the low quality education rendered at the public schools. Similarly, the dysfunctioning primary healthcare system has led to overcrowding in secondary schools and tertiary health institutions, complicating access to quality healthcare. Furthermore, the provisions of road infrastructure is a joint responsibility of the 3 tiers of government in Nigeria. The Nigerian road network is estimated to be around 200 kilometers in length. Most of these roads are in poor conditions and inaccessible. 66% of the total roads in Nigeria, estimated to be 132 kilometers, are managed by the local government. In contrast, the states, which are seized with local government allocations, have just 16% of roads to maintain. Data has shown that the road is the most used means of transportation in Nigeria. More than 90% of the people and goods in Nigeria are transported by road. If the local government has access to their allocations, it will bring a noticeable improvement to the state of our roads today. There is no doubt that the provisions of essential and basic infrastructure, particularly at local government levels, has a significant role in advancing political and socio-economic systems and the general quality of life. In addition, another part of the judgment that signaled a win for democracy in Nigeria is the condemnation of the dissolution of democratically elected local government councils. According to a report, not fewer than 21 states out of 36 states are currently without duly elected local government councils and run the local governments with caretaker committees, which is foreign to the Constitution. This practice is unhealthy for democracy. The government and the governors must stop running the local government as if they were their stooges. Dissolving elected officials in the local government and running them by unelected officials is gradually putting the local government administration into extinction.